I would say I'm a former Christian up till about the age of 7 or 8. And kind of figured out it's pretty easy to see all the problems with religion. Even a kid, if they're looking at it closely, can see. I was raised in a Pentecostal church, so it was not difficult to see the problems with religion. Figured it out at an early age. Lived my life as an agnostic or an atheist for really a long time. I cemented it by looking up like stuff from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, going to their website, doing a lot of reading like that back in college, and kind of was just happy with my position for a long time. But stuff kind of kept bothering me. I kept thinking about this question, and I think I have. I'd like to challenge you on something. See if you can show me. See if you can kind of poke a hole in my proof for God.
Okay. Is it, just to be clear, is this a proof that you now believe because you're a Christian again, or are you just throwing it out for the sake of argument?
No, this is a proof. I don't believe stuff unless it is through reason. Unless I have a reason to believe something, there's no belief like I believe that there's a magical fairy behind me belief. There's none of that's required. It's strictly a little logic proof.
Well, I think what I was asking is, are you currently a theist or an atheist?
Oh, I'm currently a theist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
you are, sorry if you don't like the word belief, but you are yourself persuaded by this proof.
Yeah, I think that, it's a interesting proof that convinces me that this is the way where I should put my efforts, perhaps. You got to decide what you're going to do with your time, all right?
All right. Fire when ready.
You ready? Fire away. All right, so, every proof has presuppositions. This one's
no, you got into presuppositionalism.
Yeah, well, it's a tiny...
Wait, can I do this proof? Let me see. I think every presupposition... So in order for logic and reason to exist, and in order for everything to be consistent, there has to be a founder of logic and reason, somebody who wrote it, and without believing in God, nothing makes sense or could be consistent.
Wow.
Is that it?
That's terrible. Go back to your website and just see if you can't come up with something better than that. No, the presupposition...
That was my attempt at the short version, but yeah, go ahead.
It seems to be, in concert with my observations too, and first law of thermodynamics, which I understand might not hold under certain situations, but just stuff is here. That's it. That's step one. Stuff's here. That's the best explanation for stuff being here. It's just here. Well, we might see some tiny microparticles come in and out of existence. Well, we have bigger fields that there may be even part of, Higgs field, etc. All particles seem to do this, and it's not important. This stuff is really here all the time, but it's certainly here now. I would hope we would agree upon that. So that's step one. And it's also the best explanation for where it came from. It's always been here. That's really the big step.
I don't know that that's an accepted explanation of where it came from.
Well, it doesn't matter. It could be...
Well, it does matter, because if you start your entire argument with an assertion that something is definitely true and it's not definitely true, then there's no point in going on to the rest of the argument, because you're building it on something that may not be true.
What other alternatives would you propose? That stuff isn't here and now it is? Let's go with yours.
I haven't
use your presupposition.
No. You are trying to nail down a specific model of how things got here, but the fact is that that there is not that level of certainty among scientists, and there's only certainty among theists because they make a practice of assuming that they're always right. So I'm not going to say something definitely came into existence, and I'm not going to go with your assumption that everything was always here. So you can't build an argument on either of those assumptions.
You can't build. You're saying you can't build an argument on that there was nothing and now there's something, and at the same time you can't build an argument on there was always something.
At this point, what are we talking about?
Ever figuring anything out? You really are. Let's just listen for a moment, and then.
You're being kind of condescending right now, and I'm not sure I want to bother listening to this whole thing.
Okay, well, hey man, it's up to you. It's your show. You guys are the ones that have never lost an argument and won't even listen to the argument.
I already said that's not really true.
You want like some bubblegum argument to blow up. That's all you want. You don't even want a real discussion about these kind of things. It sounds like.
Continue your argument. I'm still reserving the right to hang up on you.
All right. Well, that's fabulous. Either way, step one, there's stuff. That's it. Here we see some stuff around us.
So far, agree.
Here. Okay. Step two, we observe evolution. These things have either, A, gained complexity when they're in an open system and gain energy, or they have entropy fail, like if they're out in a closed system, the entire universe, entropy starts winning and they go to disorder. That's why we have evolution here on the Earth. We have an excess of energy. It's coming in. Things naturally get more evolved.
Okay.
Your iPhone's better than 5 years ago iPhone.
I would not say that. Yeah. Okay. Forget it. Go on.
Are we okay still so far?
I have some slight disagreements with your wording, but I don't want to derail it right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we see an increase in complexity as a natural phenomenon. That means that sort of happens a lot, we would think. We see evolution all around us. It happens naturally.
We see localized increases. We see localized increases in some places and localized decreases in complexity in other places. So, yeah.
Well, there is a random component to it. However, it usually goes in most of the Earth is covered in green grass. I mean, virtually all of it.
Okay, most of the time that would be false.
Okay.
I mean, the Earth happens to be a very localized place where it is frequently true.
Exactly, where creatures have evolved. Mm-hmm. First animals, then creatures, then iPhones and computers and rocket ships. So evolution happens naturally as a natural process, and then it can become guided at some point.
What?
So once it becomes guided, it accelerates. So we can make choices about what's good and bad. Our moral system now, this is why our moral system didn't come from the Bible. It's way better than the Bible. We have way improved morals. We're working on improving those morals. We're headed towards perfecting those.
I disagree.
With technology. We're headed towards perfecting. Oh,
disagree.
Really? Does your phone get worse or less? Give me some examples of how we're going down.
First, you would have to define perfect, and then demonstrate that the movement toward it is consistent.
Okay, well, the technology...
I mean, for instance, like as overpopulation and global climate change becomes an issue, it's not continues to be an issue. It's not out of the question that we could reach a critical point where there would basically be a giant population crash where a lot of people would die. In which case we could look at it with hindsight and say, hey, maybe some of the stuff that we were doing wasn't maybe toward perfection. Okay, I mean, you can't just sit at your local point in time about, a few thousand years after written history has started and then say that we're definitely going for some particular place.
Well, yes, you can.
No, you can, but that doesn't mean you're right.
You can. Well, it does, or phones wouldn't be.
I'm tired of you.
I honestly didn't know how to respond to that guy, so thank you.
Good for you being honest.